you, man. Okay, there's still some that have not filled it yet. Can you please fill it so we can move ahead? Okay, so from what we got from the poll for the first question, do you conduct market research in your company? We can see that 57% said yes, 29 no, and aspiring entrepreneurs. People are still coming in. 1 second. Okay.
Fatoumata, you can make me co-host again. Sorry, I got disconnected.
Okay, 1 second. Okay. Okay, that's done. It's done. So we can move ahead with the presentation. This will go a long way. Okay, so we're done here, so we can move ahead with the presentation. Yes. So what do we have for you today? These are our key points that we'll cover during this presentation. The first one being the fast facts that will just consist of statistical representation of what is happening in the market research system. And the second one, what is market research?
I think you're not sharing your screen again. Can you share it again?
Oh, what just happened? Okay, let me share it again.
Okay, no, it's okay.
Okay, okay. Then I'll go ahead. From what is market research, we'll also delve into why we conduct market research, the benefits of market research, market research and the role of market research for startups and new ventures. So what are our fast facts? The first fast fact that we have here is a study that was conducted in the University of Cape Town, South Africa, and they discovered that 80% of small businesses fail within 5 years. And this was due to the fact that there was not much productivity and no continuous market research during this process. And another fast fact we have here is that 80% of CEOs believe that they deliver superior customer experiences. And from that information, this study discovered that only 8% of their customers agreed. And this study was conducted by the Bain and Company, a global strategy firm that is found in the UK. And the next one we have is that 55.3% of consumers, 55.3% of consumers are brand loyal because they love your product. So how do you know this? How do you know or get to know if your consumers love your product? This you can know through market research. But in the same case, if the reverse happens, if they do not love your product, you can still reach out to them through market research to get the necessary information or gain insight into how you can improve your product to make sure that it aligns with their needs and wants. And the final fast fact we have here is a study conducted by the Harvard Business School in 2019, and it involved 1,000 senior executives. And what they discovered during this survey was highly driven organizations or companies are 3 times more likely to report significant improvement in decision making in comparison to those that rely less on data. So this goes to say that data is the future. You will always need data from your ideation stage to your launching stage to wherever you find your business. And moving on, since we have already talked about certain fast facts, we would also need to understand what market research is. And defining the term market research, it is defined as the process of evaluating the feasibility of a new product or a service through research that is conducted directly with potential customers. But let's be also aware that you can conduct market research on your own as a brand or as a startup or an aspiring entrepreneur, but also you can also get expertise to do it for you, to reach out to your consumers and get the necessary information or data for you to move ahead and get the data that would help you to move forward with your product. And also we would see here and discuss the two types of market research. We have here market research, which is primary market research, and also secondary market research. In primary market research, you would reach your consumers or your target audience directly. You get the response from them directly, get the necessary insight or data from them. And how can you do this? There's different methods how you can reach your consumers directly and get primary information from them. And you can conduct surveys, you can conduct online, as well as online surveys, phone interviews, or even face-to-face interviews, or also including, not forgetting, focus groups. And for secondary market research, in this case, this information that you will access is already existing information in this case that has been created by other people or other persons or companies. And it's information that is available. In this case, the most common one I would say is the internet. When you go to the internet, you can find research or studies that have already been done, and you can access the necessary information that will help your business grow for the better. So here we go. In primary market research, we already discussed that this information you can get directly from your customers or your consumers. And there are these two types, which is qualitative and quantitative. In quantitative methods, you collect data that is mostly numerical data. As you can see, this ice cream vendor, I would say he is an ice cream vendor, he's selling ice cream, but you can see there is a board right beside his ice cream stand, and it states free ice cream. But at the end of the day, he found out that only 30 were able to took the ice cream at the end of the day, which is a very interesting numerical insight. And here we have, for qualitative method, it will help you to collect data that is non-numerical. That is, it will help to give further insight and answer the question why. It will help you to understand your users, your target audience, or your customers. What are their likes? What are their needs? What are their attributes and their likes? It will mostly give deeper insights into what you're looking for, or help you answer your research question. And as you can see here, this ice cream vendor asked, what did the customer feel when he took the free ice cream? And he responded, excited, a little bit scared. And he went further to ask, and why was that? As you continue asking these questions, you will get to gain more insights into your consumer needs and preferences. Yes, so moving ahead, we have talked about having a business. We have talked about being entrepreneurs, gaining insights from your audiences or your consumers. But as an aspiring entrepreneur, you have a new idea. How do you get this idea to align with not only your goals, but to align with the needs of the market and align with the needs of your consumers? To do this, you will have to rethink and test your idea. How do you test your idea? Market research will help give you this opportunity to do this. And you can do this by using different methods. You can use surveys, you can use focus groups, you can use questionnaires. But let's be also aware that you can do all of this on your own at the end of the day. From this way, you can create this new idea that you have tested it, you have refined it, and from there you would know and align your business idea to the needs of the market and the needs of the consumers. Therefore, you will fulfill the needs of your customers, making your customers happy, and at the same time help you to make a successful business or brand. But also in market research, let's be aware that there are certain research areas that target specific research problems in market research. And the first one we have is product market research. In this case, you will reach out to your consumers or your target market, let share information or share insights into what your product is like. In this case, you can even do product testing and see how easy it is to use your product or the like. Or even if you are, let's say, for example, you have an app and the app's navigation is a bit difficult, it's a bit difficult to navigate. If you reach out to your consumers or users, you would eventually learn how to make it easier for them. They would provide you the necessary information, and all you need to do is ask them. So in branding, in the case of branding market research, your brand is your identity as your business, and it helps to show how your brand is perceived by people. It will not only help to show you how your brand is perceived, but it can, through reaching out to your consumers, they will help you to get necessary information in terms of learning more about your strengths and weaknesses as a company or a startup. So in the case of a competitor market research, the main goal and the main purpose here, it is to know your competitor. Know what is their go-to strategy, what is the winning strategy, what marketability methods they use, how well are they doing in the market, and how are they doing this, and in this market research method, it's best to use the secondary market research, because you can go to the internet, research on your competitors, and get the necessary information and help align your products or services according to how they're doing best, learn from them, and eventually you might even find opportunities and gaps that would help you go up the ladder in the market. And for the customer market research, in this case, you reach out to your customers. They will provide the insights to you in how to make the product better for them, make the product the best possible way you can get it to them. And at the end of the day, you would fully satisfy these customers, and they would remain loyal to your brand. So we have talked about all of these market research terms, and here now we will talk about the importance that market research plays for startups and SMEs in the different phases. For the ideation phase, as an entrepreneur, you have come up with an idea. You're very happy about it. You're very excited about your idea. And you go into, let's say, most of them go into asking questions to family members, friends, or even mentors to share certain insights. And they would go with this with assumption of what they find out from these people and go with that to the market. And after a while, they will discover very things. You can discover that your idea isn't as original, but also your idea is not even filling a gap or a need. And for you to get to this phase, you need to conduct market research for your idea to be validated, for you to start producing and getting into the market. So the next stage being in product development. In terms of product development, we'll take the example of Instagram. When Instagram started, it started as an app called Bourbon, and it started as a consumer check-in app, but they had other features. Features which includes picture sharing and picture liking app. But after a while, when they discovered that, when the owners discovered that the consumer check-in app wasn't as popular, they found out that the picture liking and the picture sharing was mostly what the people liked. So they took what they learned from market research and aligned it to what it is today, Instagram, which is mostly used by almost 1.3 billion people in the world. And Instagram did not stop there. They're still developing their app, they're still making changes to it. And one of the most popular features that I like is the blocking app, the blocking feature, sorry. In this blocking feature, you will realize that nowadays in Instagram, you can block someone and block any feature accounts that they create in the future, which is pretty awesome. And going forward after product development, you don't only stop there with market research. We go to market launch. In this case now, your idea has been validated, your product has been developed, which never ends there, it continues. So now how do you launch your product? To launch your product, you need to know where to target your audience, what platform do they most frequent, what marketing strategy do you use, and to learn about the marketability, you have to reach them and let them know about your product and services. If not, this will not go very well. It might lead for failure. And finally, the sustaining stage. Every entrepreneur or business learns to create a business that would not only survive for a while, but will strive in the market for a very long time. And how do you make sure that you sustain your product? Because you would realize that the needs of your consumers change over time. Maybe last year, what they would need and this year would be totally different. You should be making sure that you are always in line with the changing environment, changing technological needs of your consumers or your customers in order to be sustainable in the market. Yes, so the whole idea of this presentation is to learn and give more insights on the benefits of market research. And the first one here we have is to make well-informed risk. In this case, we will take an example of Microsoft. When Microsoft came into being and it created the Xbox, by then in 2001, the PlayStation was very popular, was one of the most popular gaming devices then. But Microsoft still came up with the Xbox, and today the Xbox is one of the most popular devices, gaming devices in the world. And they fulfill all this through taking market research. They took this risk, and this risk was well informed and backed by data. It was not a risk that was taken out of darkness. And the second one is another benefit of market research. It will help you to understand your customers' preferences and needs. As I said earlier, your customers' preferences and needs change over time. So in order to fully align this to what you're doing and what you think your customers' needs is not important. You can know your business as well as you want, you can present your whole idea to people, you know your business entirely, which is very important, but knowing your consumers and your target audience or your customers entirely is very important, as it determines the success rate of your brand. So it's very important as it helps you to understand your customer preferences and needs. And the next benefit we have is it helps you to determine your brand's marketing strategy. So in this case, in terms of branding marketing strategy, every business should know how to reach your audience. Where does your audience frequent? What form of marketing strategy should you use? Is it online or offline? In this case, we take an example of an app that is made for, let's say, a dating app. A dating app would mostly be useful to people who are between, let's say, 18 going 35. But when you are marketing this product, you might need to identify which social medium to use in this case. So you would want to use social media with areas that are most frequent by younger people or middle-aged adults, right? You don't use social media methods that are targeting or mostly frequented by young people between 16 and maybe 10. You can't use that because it might not go well for you. And next is to improve your internal communication method by reducing assumption. So we need to know that when data is present, which is backed by market research, assumption will surely disappear. There will be no form of assumption. Every decision that is made internally will be backed by data, and this will eventually improve internal communication within your company. And the next benefit of market research is in terms of innovation and expansion. Every business, whether a startup or a new business, whether you are launching a product or a service, you look forward to innovating in the future and expanding. You have to know which idea are you able to capitalize on and innovate as you go to get a higher ranking in the market. But also you have to know which areas to best expand to reach your target audience or reach your consumers and customers. And this you can know through conducting market research. And also identifying your brand weaknesses and strengths. How do you identify your brand's weaknesses and strengths? You reach out to your users. Your users will provide every necessary information you need. And how this benefits you is that you capitalize on your weaknesses and be better for them. So in this case, we can say maybe if your customer service is not doing very well and your customers are not pleased with it, this might directly affect your productivity and the like. And you will have to capitalize on this weakness in order to make your customers to be satisfied with your service and eventually remain loyal to your brand. And finally, we have analyzing your customer communication methods. In this area, you have to conduct market research because you need your customers to tell you which communication method best suits them and how best to reach them to buy your products or be aware of your service, which also greatly influences your awareness in the market. Yes, so how can market research be useful to your business? In terms of customers, it can help you to create a customer profile. When it creates a customer profile for you, it will tell you the different needs and preferences these customers have. This will directly influence and help you gain insight into what their needs are. And you can tailor this to what your business is doing in order to succeed and make better sales. And next, for opportunities. In this case, it can benefit you highly because you will be aware of the opportunities that are present in the market, the potential opportunities, maybe those opportunities that your competitors are not feeling. If your competitors are not feeling this opportunity, you get direct responses from your consumers. And if your consumers or your customers or the market is telling you that this need, we would, let's say we'll highly appreciate this, we would want something better, or we would want a better customer or customer service. And if you are aware of this opportunity, this would benefit your business a great deal. So for the forecast, in this case, we would say when the economy of a business is negatively affected and people are not doing well, so is the economy, you are affected. Your business or small business or an entrepreneur, the sales of your product and services are highly affected. And this will in turn make your customers to be very, not very much willing to spend their money on certain things because the environment and the economy is not doing as well. So what market research will do for you in this case, in terms of, let's say you are trying to launch a product, it will help you to determine which time to best launch your product. And this could be, maybe it can predict for you as the time to launch your product in which your consumers will be able to afford your product and will be able to use and buy your product. And at the end of the day, we would know that many businesses and brands will tell you, okay, we can't conduct market research because market research is very time consuming, it's very expensive, we can't do it alone, we don't have the money to carry out this market research processes. But you know that the impact of not conducting market research differentiates you from all the other competitors in the market. If you do not conduct market research, be very much aware that your competitors are clearly conducting market research and the consequences can be quite fatal. For the first one, brands do not meet their customers' expectation. In this case, we will take an example of Target. Target is a very famous and popular brand or store in the US. And when they tried to expand to Canada some time ago, they went into it, they ignored market research, they spent millions of dollars and pumped it into online reach, name recognition, billboards, and the like. But the issue here is the people in Canada knew about Target. They are aware of the brand. But when the stores were open in Canada, these people or these customers came into the market. When they came into the stores, their expectations were not what they saw, because what they see in the US markets and what they saw in Target and Canada were totally different. And also the prices were very high. They were higher than what it is like in the US. And after some time, after 2 years, the brand or the stores totally failed and it was shut down after then. And also another impact of not conducting market research is lack of awareness of your competitor advantages. As a brand or as a new business, you know that there are always bigger shots in the market. There are always people out there who are doing better than you. If you do not learn from your competitors or learn about their marketability or their winning strategies, you might be stagnant for a while, because you need to know, you need to be aware of what your competitors are doing right and what got them to where they are today. And in this method, you can get the data, insights, or information through secondary research methods or data sources. And thirdly, it increases operational risk. What we mean by operational risk here could include, in this case, it could be both internal and external operational risk. If you pump money or invest in areas that are not doing very well for you, you could lose a whole lot. That can be both internal and external. If you put in your money or your investment, or let's say your energy, or even your marketing strategy, it could prove very fatal, because at the end of the day, if these strategies do not work for you, and if market research is not there to tell you that this particular area is where you should put more strength in, and you put it in the other way, this could therefore increase operational risk. And lastly, we have decrease in sales of products and services. In this case, it will highly affect the sales of your product, because if you do not consistently and constantly upgrade your products to align with the needs of the people in the market, this will highly affect the sales of your product and services, as customers are always, or consumers are always looking for better products that are in the market. So if you come to the market doing very well for some time and you remain stagnant in that one place, this might be very risky for you in terms of your sales of product and services, and this will highly affect your financial gains. And this is all I have for you today. And if you have any questions, please share them in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Fatoumata. So we have one question. I think so. There is, so just to introduce myself, it's Pierre, product lead at Luca, and there is Serena, so who is business lead. I think we can take the first question. That was, what are key challenges for an African startup in understanding needs and wants of target brand audience through market research? This is a question from Sebastian. Maybe, I don't know, Serene, if you want to answer on this one.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so pretty much to answer that question, so the key challenges that we usually find, we can separate them into three. So one, there's the lack of tools generally to be able to carry on those studies, not enough general knowledge in the companies across the continent on what market research is. So pretty much everything that Fatoumata explained in the presentation, something that based on that in Africa are getting to know too, and they're trying to build their internal teams, but it's a process that's ongoing. And we're still like very early in terms of maturity. And also the last challenge is really the main above everything is the difficulty to be able to find those targets. So for example, you reach business owners in the market, or even just like for fintech users, to be not everyone is enabled, for example, to answer online forums. So you're gonna have to like find them on the ground, and pretty much it's like what we're doing at Luca is we're trying to be able to help these companies reach those. It's really those key challenges that you really have, not only just for brand market research, but pretty much for any type of market research, anything that has to do with collecting insights from consumers. I hope that answers your question, Sebastian.
I hope that answers your question. And also, if you have any question about the brand Luca and what we do, you can ask. Pierre is here and he will take you through it. No. Thank you, Serif. Thank you, Sebastian and Anne. Any more questions? Yeah, do you have anything to add in, Serene?
Yes, I see there is no other question, but yeah, if anyone have any question, you can ask. In the meantime, I have to just to tell you that this is the first webinar that we are doing. So at Luca, our vision is to make market research accessible to SMEs and startups. And so that's why we're doing this webinar, is so that anyone can learn about market research, because we know that for the moment, if you want to conduct market research in Africa, it's not easy. And so that's why we created the tool, and we created also, we are really working on trainings on market research. So we're going to do more webinars. And so if you want to join the other webinars, you are more than welcome. And yes, so this is it. Does Luca work outside Africa or out? So for the moment, we are not working outside of Africa. We are not sure if we would work in the future. It's quite too early for us to say if we would be available in other countries. What's quite sure is that we wouldn't be available in, I would say, Europe or United States, because this is really a different way of doing market research. So yeah, for the moment, we are in Africa, and we are not working outside of Africa. One of the key challenges is knowledge gap at response received. What is Luca trying to do to help SMEs and MSMEs in Africa to address that? Okay, I don't know, Serene, if you want to
I can answer that question. So yeah, well, that's a great question actually, and it's something that we over the past 2-3 years that we've been working on the gap and trying to figure out. And pretty much is what we're doing. For example, a good example is the webinar that Fatima did today. Really, what we're trying to do is that trying to build the knowledge gap. So it's something. It's one of our missions. So the first mission is to build the tools to help people explore the voice of consumers. And the second thing that we're doing is spreading the knowledge base of market research. And how do we do that? We do that through these webinars on topics such as the benefits of market research, or how to do market research, or different types of market research. We're also trying to create more content, whether it's articles, and that's like all the fantastic work that Fatima has been doing since she joined us. And pretty much just making all of these knowledge available to everyone online, free, so that people who are aspiring entrepreneurs, only working on their own startups, or even professionals that have been around for a long time working at big companies, and making sure that people have the good knowledge of how to be able to do market research, not necessarily just with Luca, but also just with themselves. Whether it's doing qualitative interviews, quantitative interviews, just being able to go outside and talk to people. So that's one of the main things that we're going to try to do, especially starting this year. And cool. Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you.
That actually made sense too.
Oh, thank you, Sebastian. Oh,
we have someone coming now.
You are 1 hour late.
Okay, so I think if there is no other question, we can
end the session.
End it here. Yeah.
If you have any question, please ask, because if there is no question, we'll have to end the session now. Oh, okay. So I'm guessing there is no question here.
Yes.
I'm guessing they
Yes. So thank you everyone for attending the webinar. I hope it was really insightful for you. So yeah, as I said earlier, we're going to do more webinars. So you can find the communication on our on LinkedIn. We will talk about the next webinar about coming. I think we're going to do one more in maybe next month. So yes, still if you have last question is what's the purpose to do it? Etude for now. Maybe not sure. I don't know what's the name of the question. Do you speak French? Maybe because I saw a word in French, so maybe you can ask the question in French if you want, and I can translate it. Okay, so I don't know.
He's trying to connect to audio. I think he's trying to connect. Can you unmute and ask the question, please? Please raise your question. Yeah, I think he's here now.
So yeah, what was your question? Okay, so no problem.
I'm thinking maybe it's network issues. I don't know, but he's been trying to connect to audio for a minute now. I don't know. But then we can move forward. If there are any more questions, that is. And you can unmute if you want to speak or ask a question, please. Hello.
Yeah, so I think no one has any questions, so we can end it here and just say goodbye.
Yes, I think he's still trying to connect and speak, but I don't know what is going on. Yeah. So yes, I think we'll end it here since there are no more questions. And please watch out on our different social medias, on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook. We'll be sharing more information on our next webinars and training sessions that we'll be having in the future. And as Pierre said, we will be having one next month. And we would love to have you here again. And thank you for attending this session with us. And we hope we have been of great help in information to you. And so, yes, that is it from me. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for attending. Have a nice day.
Bye. Right.
Yeah, you can end the meeting, Fatoumata, I think, for everyone.